Hey guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Okay, after ako nag-post nung episode tungkol dun sa bago na namang restrictions sa pag-apply ng post-graduation work permit, tsaka open work permit, napansin ko karamihan ng mga comments, kampante, hindi nag-aalala dun sa additional restrictions set for applying for a PGWP. Specifically, kailangan pumasa ng English test. Sabi nila, nako, very easy na yun sa mga Pilipina dahil magagaling tayo sa English. Ang napansin kong may concern is yung bagong restriction sa pag-apply ng open work permit. Basically, kailangan medyo tied sa isang industry na tinuturing na may long-term shortage. Yan yung nakasulat dun sa announcement from the Canadian government's website. Ano ba kasi itong long-term shortage? Sa ngayon, wala pa silang binibigay na listahan kung ano ba ito. Wala pang detalye tungkol dyan. But today, we're gonna try to just, discuss what this could potentially be, okay? Pero syempre, hintayin pa rin natin yung official announcement ng gobyerno. Welcome back to In a Nutshell. Ayan, si Dayanara M. Puerto Bantigue. As usual, ilalagay ko po sa description box ang kanyang contact information dahil every episode ko kay Dayanara may nagtatanong saan siya makakontakt. I will put it in the description box. Okay? Ayan. Hello, Dayanara!
Hello po, kumusta po, Miss Ina?
Ayan, okay, nako. Una sa lahat, when you monitored the news yesterday, what were your first thoughts? Nako, ano?
Because you remember we spoke about this during the time we discussed the survey, one of the videos that we posted. So this is the response to that. This is the one big announcement that we have been waiting for. So it was 1 p.m. So I finished lunch, nasa sala kami, I was watching it, and I was, putting in some notes sa cellphone ko. And my first reaction to some of the announcements is, I'm brokenhearted.
Oh.
Brokenhearted. Because my husband and I, we belong to a community here in London, Ontario. We see a lot of temporary residents all the time. We see open work permit holders. We see their spouses. My husband plays basketball. So he plays his teammates. A lot of his teammates are temporary residents. And one of his first reaction is, ano mangyayari dun sa mga kasama ko sa teammates ko? Ano mangyayari?
Oh, no.
Ano mangyayari sa kapatid namin na nandito rin as temporary residents? So it's heartbreaking for a lot of people, definitely. And hindi ko pwedeng sabihin na hindi ako nakaka-relate kasi nandun din ako, Miss Ina, dati. Yun din ang puso dati.
Yeah.
Diba? Parang hindi ko naman pwedeng sabihin na dahil mas permanente na yung status ko dito sa Canada is hindi ako nakakaramdam ng kahit paano yung simpatya sa kanila. Yeah, it's really heartbreaking.
Of course, ano. Not to say na parang ayaw natin ginagawa ng Canada, but, hindi mo rin maiwa. Ako din naman, no? I do see merits dito sa pagiging mas stricto ngayon ng Canada sa immigration. Pero I can't help also but, feel worried para sa mga kababayan natin na maapektuhan dito. Specifically, sabi nga ni Dayanara before we recorded this, parang mas nakaka-worry sa mga nandito na. Okay pa sana yung mga wala pa dito. At least, they're saving... I mean, wala pa sila dito, basically, di ba? Yung mga napasabak na dito, nakailang taon na dito, already spent time here, already worked here, and then now are worried about parang baka mapauwi sila, basically. Okay, tama ba yung observation ko based on my comment section sa yesterday's episode? Parang hindi naman problema yung mga kababayan natin tungkol sa pagpasa ng English test, which is now a requirement will be a requirement rather starting November 1st. Sa pag-apply ng PGWP. Level 7, kahit pa level 7, sabi nila easy peasy daw para sa mga Pilipino. Do you agree with that?
Well, level 7 is hard. Okay, so
it is ba? Okay.
Well, this is based on based on my observation. Syempre, I talk to a lot of clients. We process PR applications. So on average, I do see Filipinos reach 7. Pag sinabi po kasi nating CLB 7, if we're going to look at, let's say, CELPIP, for example, for Canadian Experience Class, CLB 7 CELPIP, ang magde-decide ng CLB level mo is yung pinakamababang score dun sa apat. So listening.
Ganun pala. Okay.
CELPIP is 0 to 12. So, even if you get 12 dun sa tatlo, tapos sa writing, bigla kang naging 8, that's your CLB. That lowest. So, we don't know how they're going to do it, but if it is based on CLB, that's going, pero yung 5, CLB 5, I would say, it's quite reachable.
Okay.
Yung mga Pilipino, most of the international students who are Filipinos, they go to colleges. And pagka college graduates, college diplomas and certificates, CLB 5 naman po. Yung sinet ng RTC. Pero pagka universities, bachelor's, master's, PhD, ito namang mga students na nasa universities, bago sila makapasok sa universities, usually meron silang mga language test na nakinukuha. So I would agree, hindi din ako masyadong worried din. And also, honestly, with the language test, you can actually hit two birds with one stone. You can take the language test for your PGWP and then for PR then down the line.
Yeah. Assuming na mabilis ka makapag-plan for your PR kasi may 2 years validity lang yung
That's
English test.
That's correct.
Okay.
This is more targeted, Miss Ina, para dun sa mga kasi kahit ako, nag-aral din naman ako, international student din naman ako. Meron din naman akong mga kaklase talaga na hindi talaga marunong. Hindi ko rin alam kung paano ako naging estudyante sa Canada at nakapasa. Kasi hindi talaga sila marunong. Nagre-report sila, meron silang hawak na papel, tapos nakatingin sila doon, kasalita sila, hindi mo maintindihan yung English na binibigkas nila. So, in a way, sila yung mas apektado. And also, hindi din naman po natin maitatanggi na mayroong mga pamimiking nangyayari pagdating sa pagkuha ng IELTS, CELPIP, nangyayari din talaga yun. And ito yung sinasawata ng IRCC by instituting this rule.
Yeah, I highly doubt na tayo ang pinatatamaan ng yung policy na yan, hindi yung mga Pilipino, because we are known to be good English speakers. Yun na lang ang sasabihin ko. Sige, wag na natin.
That's a flex.
Yeah. Okay. Pero, ang concern ng marami, Dayanara, is yung ano pa tawag dito, pagiging dependent na ngayon ng application for open work permit ng spousal, those who are still qualified to, tsaka yung ng spousal permit for international students and temporary workers. Ngayon, parang in the near future, yan yung nasa announcement Wala pang sinasabi kung kailan mag-take effect.
Opo.
Yeah. Itatali na daw yung pagbibigyan ng open work permit sa mga kursong gagraduate na merong long-term shortage in that industry, as well as jobs for temporary foreign workers na nandoon sa long-term shortage, kumbaga sectors.
And also, I think they also mentioned management or professional occupations.
Oh, yan. Okay.
Professional occupations or in sectors with labor shortages.
Yeah. So right now, it's still a little vague, ano?
Opo.
Okay. Tapos, kailangan natin hintayin, syempre, yung detailed list ba yan na ilalabas ng gobyerno ng Canada? But for now, for those who are worried sa ngayon, napapaisip na, sino kaya sa kanila ang nadidelikado? Anong courses palagay mo? Sino mga estudyante studying in what courses palagay mo ang maaapektuhan dito?
Hindi ko rin alam, Miss Ina, honestly, kung anong klaseng criteria yung ia-apply ng Canada dito sa gagawin nila kasi merong mga trabaho na in demand sa certain provinces na hindi in demand sa ibang provinces. So for example,
Okay.
Ontario recently released yung sa mga OINP draws nila na may priority occupation sila includes HR professionals, marketing professionals, executive assistants. Kung titingnan natin yung ibang probinsya, hindi yun kasama. BC, for example, hindi kasama yung mga yun sa priority nila. So, honestly, it's really very hard to say. But I think I can safely say na kung dun tayo sa long-term shortages titingin, we can point out healthcare, number one, construction, number two, agriculture for food security, tech, I would say tech, including STEM then, Early childhood education, ito yung mga for long-term shortages. Doon naman sa mga tinatanong po ninyo ng mga maaaring magdelikado, then I would say the ones that are more populated. Yung mga courses, yung mga programs na usually populated. Nung nag-start ako maging educational consultant, ito na yung mga program na usually hindi ko sinasuggest.
Halimbawa na, ako na, didiretsuhin ko na, halimbawa, business administration.
Business management. Global business management. I can probably pick in just one hand kung ilan yung binigyan ko ng or sinuggestan ko ng program na pagka lang talaga wala na akong choice. Global business management, I don't suggest that. International business, I don't suggest that. Agad maaari, project management, I don't suggest that. Strategic management, ganyan. Mga management na ganyan sa yan. Ang dami kong mga clients na mga nurses na napunta sa healthcare management, nursing leadership. Yan, those programs, I always tell clients, napakahirap niyang hanapan ng work pagka nasa ka na ng Canada. Kasi management siya. So parang imagine, you take a nursing leadership program, so a nursing management program, tapos hindi ka pa naman nurse sa Canada. So how are you going to navigate that? So yung mga ganong klaseng program, kadalasan ay napupuno, maraming kumukuha because pagdating sa defense, pag nag-a-apply ng study permit, madali kasing i-defend yung mga ganong klaseng program eh. Diba parang, why would you go to Canada to study global business management? Syempre, Canada is an international, it's a big country, it's a first world country with a huge business arena, ganyan. Madali siyang i-defend. Kaya maraming mga estudyante na napupunta doon kasi yun yung nagbibigay sa kanila ng pinakamalaking chance na ma-approve for their study permits.
Okay.
Ako, sa case ko, medyo risky ako eh. Parang nilalagay ko sila doon. Minsan, pinupush ko sila doon sa mga program na medyo risky, pero in demand. Para pagka-graduate nila, meron silang pagkakataon in the job market. And gaya nga nito, itong change na to, at least I can help, spare them a little bit of hope.
Yeah. Okay. Sige na. Ito na, Dayanara. Pero yung iba, napasok na itong mga, sabihin na natin ilang mga course na baka lang, hindi considered under long-term shortage. So what are their options now if they're worried, Dayanara? Ano ba to? Pwede ba sila mag-career change? Yung iba, halimbawa, nakalamiya, closed work permit yun. Paano ba yun?
Yung lamiya, medyo mahirap yun.
Oo.
Yung lamiya, medyo mahirap yun kasi yung lamiya, mahirap siya kasi hindi mo siya makokontrol.
Yeah,
it really just, I would say kung nandun ka sa point na yun, possibly explore the chance na makapag-aral para makalipat sa ibang industriya, magkaroon ka ng ibang skill.
Okay.
That way you will open yourself to other possible LMIAs, other possible industries na mas in demand.
Okay.
Yung nakikita ko. But kung wala talaga, then wala talaga tayong choice. Talagang yung asawa, maaaring umuwi muna ng Pilipinas, umuwi muna sa home country nila, o kaya mag-change status into visitor. Hopefully, yung main applicant ay meron ng PR pathway na naay niya para at least yung separation is hindi naman masyadong matagal. This is where planning comes in. I would say, seek assistance as soon as possible na ma-identify ninyo kung meron bang PR pathway na naghihintay sa'yo na nakalamiya ka. Meron ka bang PR pathway na maaari mong tingnan para in case you get separated, hindi siya ganun katagal. Kung hindi, then what's the other game plan that I suggest to clients is, kumbaga, the spouse who's an open work permit holder, I usually recommend to them na maybe explore having that spouse study, pero yung pag-aaralan niya is an in-demand occupation, para habang nagtatrabaho yung isa, nag-aaral yung isa, and then kung sakaling mong makapagtrabaho na yung isa, siya naman dahil nasa in-demand occupation siya, meron siyang pag-asa na makapag-apply din ng PR down the line. And then, kung magiging, let's say, mapapasok yung isa sa construction, magkakaroon siya ng work permit, dahil nasa construction siya, maia-apply niya ng open work permit yung asawa niya.
Okay.
Parang,
nyo ba yun? Medyo na-lost ako ng konti.
ganito. So, for example,
but I'm sure those who are in that situation, they get it. I'm sure naiintindihan nila.
So, for example, ako, sa asawa ko, siya yung worker, ako yung open work permit. Wala siyang PR pathway, wala siyang ma-identify na PR pathway. Naka-open work permit ako attached sa closed work permit niya. I would consider studying, let's say, healthcare, para pagka-graduate ko, hopefully makahanap ako ng work in healthcare. Ako naman ang mag-a-apply ng closed work permit. Right. Siya naman ang magiging open work permit.
Got it. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Is it also an option para naman dun sa mga, let's say, running out of time?
Apo.
Okay, mali mo ngayon parang pa-expire. I don't know, mga ganun ba yun, ano? Is it also a good advice for them to go back to the Philippines and then apply for, let's say, express entry citing their experience here in Canada already?
It depends on the score that they have.
Okay.
So if you are, let's say you already gained your Canadian experience for 2 years in a skilled position, then we can definitely compute your scores considering your language abilities, yung tinapos yung level of education, and then we can see based on that kung ano yung magiging score mo. If let's say nandun ka sa mga 520, 530 range, then there's definitely still a chance kahit umuwi ng Pilipinas.
All right. Okay.
Kasi hindi na mawawala yung Canadian experience mo na yun. Nasa iyo na siya. Although with CEC, I believe there's also an expiry dun sa work experience na kiniklaim na pwede mong i-claim. I believe 3 years. If I'm not mistaken, I will double check.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. At least they can still look into it, ano? Okay. Atong go ahead, sorry.
Provincial nomination din po is also another thing they can consider.
Yan. Okay. So, ito munang pinag-uusapan natin is for those open work permits tied sa temporary foreign worker. Okay? Sa mga international students naman na hindi pa tapos mag-aral.
Apo.
Tapos, well, kasi ngayon, yung first policy changes limited work permits to spouses sa mga masteral doctorates already, right?
Yes. Apo.
Okay, tapos ngayon dinagdagan yun. Okay, ngayon only those with courses not less than 16 months. Teka, tanong ko, marami bang mga ganon?
Master's
less than
16 months. Meron po mga ilan-ilan, pero napaka-konti lang. Most of the master's program po talaga would last for 16 months. Kaya nung nakita ko yun, hindi din naman ako masyadong nag-worry. Madalang naman po talaga yung master's program na 1 taon lang. Usually yun yung mga accelerated programs.
Okay.
Ang mabilis. Pero usually master's program would last for at least 2 years. 16 months naman po talaga.
Okay. Di kung ganun, sakali na lang may apektado dyan. And they're already here with an existing work permit, open work permit. Paano ba yun? Mag-expire yun? Paano ba yun?
I don't think they're going to be affected kasi parang from what I hear, only spouses and partners of master students who will be taking programs that are at least, yung mga papasok pa lang. Sila yung,
okay.
Pero pagka nandito ka na, nagma-masters na yung asawa mo, may hawak ka na na open work permit, yung asawa mo mag-a-apply na siya ng PGWP, hopefully, yung trabaho niya na makukuha, yung job offer na makukuha niya na i-attach niya doon sa PGWP application niya is in management or professional occupation or in the shortage list para makapag-apply ka ng open work permit.
All right. Okay. O sige. O puntahan naman natin na Yanara yung mga padating pa lang. Okay? Wala pa dito sa Canada. Ano ba to? Sabi mo kanina, ngayon ang tinatanong sa'yo madalas yata, ano ba? Dapat pa ba mag-international student? Wag na. Do you still advise that route to permanent residency? Do you still advise yung direct hire, LAMIA, mga ganyan? Or talagang, is it just safe na mag-express entry na lang sakaling meron pa silang pagkakataon to change their plans?
I mean, nakikita ko po yan sa comments dun sa kanaharaang video ninyo na parang, ba't kasi naman dumadaan kayo ng study permit at naglalamiya kayo? Hindi na lang diretso ng express entry, ganyan-ganyan. Matagal lang, mga 3 to 5 years. Pero, ang response ko dyan is, this person obviously doesn't understand the immigration process na hindi laging posible na mag-land ka sa Canada directly as as PR. It's not always possible.
Oh.
Even for people that are very young.
Yeah. For what reasons usually? Anong nag-restrict?
I would give myself as an example. So, but why did I was 25, Miss Ina, when I chose to study. In a way, that's young. So, kung iisipin mo, dapat may chance pa siguro ako mag-express entry, dumiretso ako, diba? Kasi bata ako noon eh. I have really good language test scores. Luckily, nung nag-take ako ng IELTS. So, kumbaga may fighting chance. However, I happen to be working at a regulated occupation, which is education.
Oh, I
see.
Okay.
Then there is, how will I be able to get a job offer as a secondary school teacher without, parang getting my license as a teacher first in Canada? So there are certain circumstances where landing in Canada is not possible.
All right. Sige. So, anong sinasagot mo pag tinatanong? Okay pa ba mag-international student pathway sa ngayon? And you're right, no? I have to be frank about it. Yung mga tao dito are starting to really, despise the idea. Yung mga citizens specifically, they really don't like the idea na yung student pathway nagiginagamit para maging PR, kumbaga, diba? That's I think, the reality, no?
Because it's very new. Diba? It's very new. I would say, kailan lang naman din po kasi pumutok yung study permit pathway. So, iilan pa lang kaming mga PRs and citizens dito sa Canada na dumaan dun sa proseso na yun. Yeah. Kaya maraming mga PRs and citizens na nandito na dating mga immigrants din na hindi nila naintindihan kasi karamihan sa kanila is mga, let's say, galing dun sa mga grupo ng caregivers na dumating dito, mga asawa ng mga caregivers na yun, mga anak ng mga caregivers na yun. Or nagtrabaho sila, doon pumasok sila, dumaan sila ng PNP, ganyan, or express entry. But what you have to understand is, as time passed by, as years passed by, those pathways that were available before became harder to penetrate. Okay? Tumataas ang score. Express entry scores are now in the 500s. That was not the case before. Humihirap yung mga pathway para makapasok ang mga tao directly as PRs.
All right.
So, bilang ikaw, gusto kong makapasok, gusto kong pumunta ng Canada, gusto kong mag-migrate, syempre, dadaan ako doon sa pathway na maaaring magdagdag ng score ko. Maaaring magbigay sa akin ng pagkakataon makapagtrabaho sa Canada, work permit. Yun yung mga points, yun yung mga factors na magdadagdag ng points mo para mas maging posible yung express entry or provincial nomination. Kasi hirap na sila ngayon. So, that's what I wish they would understand. Na, I know that this is probably not something that you're familiar with because you went through a different pathway when you came here.
Yeah, and at a different time,
That's a different time. And you are quite fortunate, honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
Ay, sabi ko nga po dun sa post ko, there was a time, kinukwento ng tito namin, na nagpadala lang sila ng sulat sa embassy and they were able to move to Toronto as landed PRs. That was in the 90s.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you say to those who might be saying, ayaw na nga ng Canada sa immigrants eh? Is that factual? What do you think about that?
Oh no, we can just refer to the interview yesterday with Minister Mark Miller and Minister Boisano when Minister Boisano said 99% of growth in all occupations and industries in Canada are tied to newcomers. That's what he said. Nabigla din ako, sabi niya 99%. So almost all industries benefit, diba? When we bring in newcomers.
Yeah, okay.
So, I
think it's really a matter of managing the type of immigrants that they accept, diba?
Healthy. There was a time na narinig ko parang Germany visited Canada and they did some benchmarking kasi they want to copy in a way the immigration system or the express entry system that Canada implements kasi it's really good. It's really, really good system. There was that time na Canada's immigration is really good because it takes in a healthy amount of immigrants. That's, I think, what they're doing right now. They're putting it at a healthy level. But that's not to say na hindi na sila magbubukas in the future. Canada has an aging population.
Correct.
The population is not being replaced as quickly as it should be. So we will definitely rely on newcomers in the future. And I would encourage people to watch that interview. Hi!
Naku po, nagising. Sorry. Okay, I'll go.
Watch that interview with Minister Mark. Towards the end, they put in some data with that pertains to like the benefits of immigration pa din in the long run.
Yeah, okay. Well, until that happens, wait muna tayo.
Okay.
Oo, tapos okay, isa pa. Naku, marami din nagtatanong kasi alam mo naman, mga tayo talaga thinking ahead, ano. Dapat bang problema yung mga hindi pa PR? They're fine here, temporary residents, but many are worried na kung magiging PR pa ba ako. What do you see happening dito? Kasi magkakaroon din ng announcement in less than 2 months about yung magiging new targets, ano pa tawag, levels, parang ganyan, no? For PRs in Canada. What do you see happening there? Is it also, do you think it's going to be mas magiging tight competition na rin yung PR?
It's already very tight, Ms. It's already very tight. There are clients that go to me that I had to be honest and tell them, sa ngayon po wala pa kayong PR pathway, ma'am.
Naku po, oo.
So, ito mga aring yung mga pwedeng gawin. Balik kayo sa akin kapag nag-improve na yung inyong chance, nakalipat kayo ng work or nakapagtanong kayo sa employer ninyo na pwede po pala kayo makapag-apply ng PR dito. Suportahan ba nila kayo or ano pa man?
Yeah.
Mahigpit na po talaga, Miss Ina. And kahapon nag-iisip ako, parang in a way, masuswerte nga yung mga nagpaplano pa lang. Kasi nakakita na nila ngayon, ahead of time, kung ano yung priority ng Canada. Nakakita na nila kung ano yung mga maaari nilang gawin. Matututo na sila mula dun sa experiences ng iba.
Yeah.
Nasa hirap na sitwasyon ngayon.
Yeah. Ay, nako. Oo nga. Pero parang, I think the province is a big factor, where you are.
Yes.
I think kasi even if the federal government is tightening its policies, general policies for immigration, there are certain provinces that really want to take in more. Parang may ganung situation. Tama, di ba, Dayanara? Oo.
Opo. Kasi po, syempre, I just read some research na half of the young population of Canada live mainly in 7 metropolitan cities. Oh,
not even province, talagang metropolitan cities, no?
I can possibly name Vancouver, Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton. I mean, they're there. But the older population, those who are retiring, they tend to move to more remote areas, northern areas, kasi magre-retire na sila, so they want quiet, ganyan. And that's also a huge chunk of the population.
Yeah.
So, if the young people do not want to move to those remote areas to work, then who are going to serve those in the aged, those who are the aged population who are moving outside the metropolitan areas. So it's really the priority of provinces kasi at the end of the day, sila yung healthcare system ng Canada usually rely on the provinces to manage it. Kaya nga po may OHIP, tapos may BC, parang iba-iba sila. So it's up to the provinces to, manage those. And if they have access to more people who will one day move to their provinces to stay and be part of their population, it's in their best interest.
Yeah. Correct. Oh, by the way, ito pa pala, Dayanara. Last na to, kasi half hour na tayo bigla. Ano ba yan? Kasi despite all these, tightening of rules for immigration, parang na-notice ko nag-open up din ng iba. Meron pa rin talagang mga pinupush na specific career paths, no?
Yes po.
Na parang that will give them an easier, parang hindi naman guaranteed PR, pero talaga may clear PR pathway for these types of jobs, no?
Opo. Kasi,
can you give us an idea anong mga pathways ito?
For example, yesterday, Minister Bozano said na, let me just look at my phone kasi
go, sige.
I made some notes regarding that. Okay. So, 400,000 skilled workers in construction will retire in 2032.
Okay,
present demand for 300,000 more skilled workers in construction because Canada is building a lot of homes.
Okay, o matagal-tagal pa yan.
So,
Okay.
it's really necessary for us to, continue hiring and, pulling, at least getting, the best people to move to Canada to help us build, the homes that we have, because we have, I think, the lowest number of homes in.
Yeah, kaya may housing crisis nga di ba?
Housing crisis. Kaya nga ito naapektuhan.
Yeah.
Parang nagsusnowball yung mga problema. So, I would say, kaya nga po ang construction talaga kasama sa exemption ng LMIA, kasama sa priority occupations na binibigyan ng PR ng lahat ng probinsya. So, talagang this sector, if we are willing to, if immigrants are willing to go here, there's a lot of potential here.
Correct. Ay, nako. At marami pang iba. Isang example lang yung sinabi ni...
Nasa primary lang po talaga yung construction kasi halatang-halata kasi siya. Siyempre, lahat ng tao kailangan ng housing. Siyempre, lahat ng tao kailangan ng healthcare. Pero lahat ng tao kailangan ng housing. Kaya, kumbaga, hina-highlight siya ng gobyerno.
Yeah. Okay. So, ayun. For those who want to insist on pursuing their Canadian dream, don't think that Canada is shutting its doors. It may seem like it. It may seem like it because of, all these recent announcements. But, yeah, if gusto nyo talaga, meron pa rin naman talagang, ways.
If there is a way for you to get into the country or to get a work permit through an LMIA, I would say that's your number one choice because that's cost effective. Mas mura siya. But not everybody can get an LMIA. So the study permit pathway, even though it's supposed to be the last resort, remains to be sometimes the only viable option for a lot of immigrants. Now, if you are going to go through the study permit pathway, if you will brave through the study permit pathway at this time, then at least po ngayon, alam nyo na kung saan kayo pupunta.
Yeah. Oo. Ay, nako. Okay. Another informative and helpful episode with Dayanara. Thank you so much. Sana nakatulong tayo sa mga nag-aalala sa kanilang sitwasyon. Okay. Again, yung contact info ni Dayanara will be in the description box. So if you want to contact her or consult sa kanya, kontakin niyo siya. Ba't ba ako nabubulol sa episode na to? Kontakin niyo siya doon. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, Dayanara. Bye!
Bye!